My name is Brennan Cross, and I've spent the last 15 years as a private investigator for the Harlow family. Not the kind of investigator you see in movies. No fedora, no whiskey in a glass tumbler at noon. I'm the kind who gets called at 3 in the morning when a senator's daughter overdoses in a penthouse, or when a business rival needs to disappear from a contract negotiation. I'm the fixer, the shadow, the man who makes problems vanish before they ever reach the light. The Harlows aren't just rich, they're god-tier wealthy. Gold mines in South Africa, refining operations in Nevada, investment portfolios that could buy small countries. Victor Harlow, the patriarch, built his empire from a single claim in the Mojave Desert in the 70s. By the 90s, he owned half the gold production in the Western Hemisphere. His face has never been on a magazine cover. That's how powerful he is. He doesn't need the attention. And his son, Elias, was supposed to inherit everything. I got the call on a Tuesday night, October 14th, the kind of night where the marine layer rolls in thick off the Pacific, turning Los Angeles into a grayscale painting. My phone buzzed at 2:47 a.m. Victor's voice, tight and controlled, the way a man sounds when he's forcing himself not to scream. Brennan, there's been an accident. Elias, Pacific Coast Highway. You need to get there now. I didn't ask questions. I threw on a jacket and drove. The PCH at night is beautiful in a dangerous way. Cliffs on one side, ocean on the other. Curves that feel like they're testing your mortality. By the time I arrived, the scene was already swarming with police, paramedics, fire trucks. Red and blue lights cut through the fog like knives. The car, Elias's midnight blue Aston Martin, was accordioned against a guardrail. The front end crumpled into something unrecognizable. The metal was still warm. The smell hit me first. Gasoline, burnt rubber, and something else. Copper, blood. A sergeant I knew, Morrison, waved me through the tape. He looked pale. Cross, didn't expect Harlow to call you before the coroner. He wants confirmation, I said, which was partially true. What Victor really wanted was control of the narrative before it became public. Morrison led me to the body. They'd covered it with a yellow tarp. But I could see the outline. Tall, lean. Elias had been 28, 6'2", a former college athlete who'd traded sports for board meetings. I knelt down and pulled back the tarp. The face was destroyed. Impact trauma. The kind of damage that makes dental records necessary. But I didn't need dental records. I'd known Elias since he was 19. I knew the scar on his left collarbone from a motorcycle accident in Monaco. I knew the tattoo on his right ribcage, a compass rose, black ink, with coordinates that pointed to the first Harlow mine. I checked both. They were there. It's him, I told Morrison. My voice sounded distant even to myself. Morrison nodded slowly. Toxicology will take a few days, but initial assessment is he lost control on the curve. Speed, maybe alcohol. No other vehicles involved. I looked at the wreckage again. The guardrail had held, barely. Another 10 feet and the car would have gone over the cliff into the ocean. Part of me wondered if that would have been cleaner. Elias had always loved the ocean. I called Victor from my car, told him what I'd seen. There was a long silence on the other end, the kind that's heavier than words. "Are you certain?" he finally asked. "Yes." Another pause. Then, "Handle the press. Handle everything. I don't want circus." The line went dead. I spent the next 72 hours doing exactly that, coordinating with the coroner's office, ensuring the autopsy was private, drafting statements for the family. Elias Harlow, beloved son and heir to the Harlow fortune, tragically killed in a single vehicle accident. Services would be private, in lieu of flowers, donations to childhood cancer research. It was clean, controlled, perfect. And then, 3 days after I'd identified his body, I got a notification on my phone. I'd installed monitoring software on all the Harlow family accounts years ago. Standard security protocol. It pinged me whenever there was unusual activity, large withdrawals, international transfers, anything that might indicate fraud or blackmail. The notification was simple. Elias Harlow's black card had just been used. I stared at the screen. My first thought was identity theft. Someone had stolen the card from the wreckage or cloned it before the accident. But when I pulled up the transaction details, my stomach dropped. The purchase was made at a gas station in Kingman, Arizona. $42, regular unleaded. Timestamp, 11:37 p.m. Kingman was 400 miles from Los Angeles, 2 states away. I checked the account history. The card had been used twice before that day. Once in Barstow, California at 6:15 p.m. Once in Needles, California at 9:03 p.m. All gas stations, all on a route heading northeast. My hands were shaking. I called the credit card company, used my credentials to get a live person. "I need video footage from these locations," I said, reading off the addresses. The representative sounded bored. "Sir, we don't have access to merchant surveillance. You'd need to contact each location individually." I hung up and started driving. Barstow first. The gas station was one of those 24-hour places off Interstate 15. Bright fluorescent lights and a clerk behind bulletproof glass. I showed him my credentials, private investigator license, a $100 bill. 3 days ago, Black Centurion card. I need to see your security footage. He looked at the bill, then at me. Camera's been broken for 2 months. All of them? Owner's too cheap to fix them. Needles was the same. Cameras offline. No footage. Kingman was different. The station was smaller, family-owned, and when I walked in, an older woman behind the counter recognized authority when she saw it. I didn't even need to bribe her. "You're here about the guy with the fancy card," she said. My pulse spiked. "You remember him?" "Hard to forget. Tall, wearing a black motorcycle jacket and a helmet. Kept the visor down the whole time. Paid at the pump, but the system flagged it as unusual. So he had to come inside to approve it." "Did you see his face?" She shook her head. "Never took the helmet off. I thought it was weird, but hey, his card worked." "Did he say anything?" "Just one thing." She paused, her expression uncertain. He said, "Tell them I'm not done yet." The air in that gas station felt thin. "Tell who?" "Didn't say. Just walked out, got on a motorcycle, and left. Headed north." I asked to see the footage. She pulled it up on a grainy monitor. There he was, 6'2", lean build, black jacket, black helmet. The motorcycle was a Ducati, high-end matte black. He moved with confidence, almost arrogance. The way Elias moved, but Elias was dead. I'd seen his body. I drove back to Los Angeles with my mind spinning. Every rational explanation fell apart. Identity theft didn't cover someone who knew Elias's exact build, his posture, his choice of motorcycle brand. A twin? Elias was an only child. A doppelganger? Impossible. I started pulling files. Everything I had on Elias. His life, his habits, his secrets, and that's when I found it. 6 months before the accident, Elias had withdrawn $800,000 in cash from a personal account. No explanation. No record of where it went. Around the same time, he'd started meeting with a man named Tobias Verna, a former Special Forces operative turned private security consultant. I'd flagged it as unusual, but not alarming. Wealthy people hire security all the time. I found Vern in a bar in Long Beach. He was in his 50s, built like a tank, with scars that told stories he'd never share. I bought him a drink and got straight to it. "Elias Harlow hired you 6 months ago. What for?" Verna looked at me with the kind of eyes that have seen too much. "You're the family's cleaner, right, Cross?" "That's right." He took a long drink. Elias wanted to disappear, said his family was killing him. Not literally, though maybe literally. He didn't trust anyone, not his father, not his cousins. Said there was something in the company, something dark, and if he stayed, he'd end up dead or complicit. My throat tightened. "What did you do?" I gave him options, new identity, offshore accounts, extraction plans. But he didn't want to run. He wanted revenge, wanted to expose them. So I told him, if you're going to war with your own family, you need to die first. Fake your death. Make them think you're gone. Then you can move in the shadows. Did he go through with it? Verna shrugged. He paid me. We planned it. Staged accident, body double, the works. But a week before we were supposed to execute, he called it off. Said he couldn't do it. Said he'd find another way. He looked at me hard. Then I heard he died in a car crash. Real convenient timing. I left that bar feeling like the ground had dropped out from under me. If Elias had planned to fake his death and then died for real, who benefited? Victor? The board? A rival family? Or had Elias gone through with it after all? The black card kept moving. Utah, Wyoming, Nebraska. Always at night. Always gas stations. I followed the trail, but I was always one step behind. I started calling in favors, pulling strings. And then I found something that made my blood turn cold. The body I'd identified wasn't Elias. I re-examined the autopsy photos. The scar on the collarbone was there. The tattoo was there. But the bone structure was slightly off. The height was close, but not exact. Someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to create a double. Scarring, tattooing, even breaking bones to match old injuries. Which meant Elias Harlow had faked his death. And he'd used me to confirm it. I should have gone to Victor. Should have told him everything, but I didn't. Because I started finding the evidence Elias had left behind. Bank records showing Victor had embezzled from his own company. Photos of board members bribing officials. Documents proving the Harlow mines used slave labor in certain countries. Elias had been gathering it all, and now, from beyond the grave, he was leaking it. One piece at a time. The Harlow empire started to crumble. Investors pulled out. Investigations were launched. Victor aged 10 years in 2 weeks, and the black card kept moving. I finally caught up to him in Colorado, a small town in the Rockies. I found the motorcycle parked outside a diner. I waited. And when he walked out, helmet under his arm, I saw his face. It was Elias. Alive. Older somehow. Harder. He saw me and smiled. Brennan, I wondered when you'd figure it out. Why? My voice cracked. Why involve me? Because you were the only one who'd believe the lie. The only one Victor trusted. I needed you to confirm I was dead so I could burn it all down. You're destroying your own family. They destroyed themselves. I'm just making sure everyone knows. He got on his motorcycle. Before he left, he looked back at me. You have a choice, Brennan. Keep protecting them. Or walk away. Either way, I'm not stopping. He rode off into the mountains and I never saw him again. I'm writing this now because I don't know what the truth is anymore. I confirmed a dead man. I watched an empire fall, and I still don't know if I did the right thing. So, I'm asking you, if you discovered the people you protected were monsters, would you help expose them? Even if it meant destroying everything? Would you let a dead man have his revenge? Subscribe to the channel and leave your like for more stories of crimes, secrets of powerful families, and investigations that no one dares to tell. Until the next case.